Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for the movie called God's Club. Welcome to God's Club. Following his wife's passing, public high school teacher Michael Evans relaunches the Bible club she originally founded. When upset parents cite the separation of church and state and want the school club disbanded, a passionate dispute erupts and threatens to destroy their small Vermont community. With his job, personal relationships, and even his faith on the line, Michael must make tough decisions about the things that matter most. Corbin Bernsen and Lorenzo Lamas also star in this uplifting tale of strength, unity, and love. Looks like this is a 2015 film. It is not rated, and it runs 90 minutes, and it stars Stephen Baldwin, Corbin Bernsen, Lorenzo Lamas, Bridget Alba, Nick Lukin. Yep, couple people. There you go. God's Club. Yeah, I don't know. At the beginning of this movie, it didn't do this the whole time, but at the beginning of this movie, it kind of seemed like we were going to skip, scenes, we were just going to come in and out of storylines and situations, and I didn't know if it was going to do it the whole time because it's almost like a TV movie, and I just didn't think it was a very good way of handling the thing, but it kind of stopped that after a while. It just did it at the beginning. I thought that was kind of weird. So, as long as it didn't do it the whole time, it wasn't that disruptive. But at the beginning, it was a little awkward. And then the situation with this movie, why Stephen Baldwin's character has to carry on things that his wife used to do, is there's a car accident. And so the grieving time after that, somebody actually throws out a number of 12 weeks. That doesn't seem like that long of a grieving time. I know some people might have to go back to work, sooner than later, but I feel like people should be able to give time to, actually do their grieving. Going back to work is one thing, letting somebody grieve is another. So I just don't like how they handled that situation in the movie. Somebody can go back to work, but, they shouldn't be asked about what their grieving process and grieving time is. That's completely separate. And any Christian watching this movie would know that. That's kind of the serious part of, me talking. Now we get into the kind of critical part, and I just want to say about my next 3 points that I'm sorry to say this kind of stuff about a Christian movie because I try to enjoy movies with a Christian basis and a Christian kind of message. And so this is not the best Christian movie I've ever seen, and it does have criticism. So the first one is that it has tons and tons of annoying, nagging, repeating dialogue. It's like they have nothing else to say. It's like this movie exists for no other reason except for these people just to repeat the same points over and over and over again. And it gets very, very on the nerves. And you just wonder if, people in charge of this movie just literally had nothing else for them to say, because there's 3 major points that are thrown throughout this movie, and they just keep saying them over and over and over again, and nobody gets any resolution. And even at the end, it's not really a resolution. It's just the end, and whatever they say kind of goes, and everybody kind of accepts it. It's not really resolution. And honestly, this whole thing about they're trying to stop this Bible club. and they really don't even refer to it as God's Club that often, and I would have appreciated that a little bit more. But like everybody gets really, really nasty about having this club at school. And like I understand their point that they keep repeating over and over and over again about not wanting something religious based at a school, but like they get nasty about it. Like this movie turns really backwards to what you think would be a small thing about just having a club at a school. You know, like even some people retort with the point, you know, it's like, well, if you're going to have French club and you're going to have science club, you got to allow a Christian club. I mean, the movie should be over as soon as that point was said, because there's really nothing much else to do about it. You know, and they talk about the legality and all this other stuff, and it's just, it gets a little bit to the bone about trying to stretch something to say, and it gets a little sad, to be honest. And then these awful girls in this movie, you know, we actually hear at one point that somebody says, well, you know, there's no churches in town, right? It's like, who would not know that, right? I mean, you live in a town, you either have a churches or you don't. You know, you either have 20 of them. It doesn't matter how small your town is. Usually you at least have a gas station and a church and a bank or something, you know. Yeah, I thought that point was kind of funny, but some of these kids in this movie and the stuff they do, you know, there's a fight, there's there's a destruction of property, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and I don't really know what this movie wanted to be, because, you know, out of all these movies I have behind me, I have some good Christian ones like God's Not Dead, and, you know, other ones about disciples and stuff like that, and this is not really, I don't know if this movie wants to be about a religious subject, because it gets really sidetracked and has this other stuff happen, and it's just so out of bounds, you know. Like, I mean, at the end we're more worried about if this one kid is going to kill himself or not, and it's like, okay, we were talking about a Bible club here. So I'm not really sure what this movie exactly wanted to be. I think it went a couple of directions and got sidetracked. I think it was trying to accumulate points and situations, since it was stretching the dialogue it didn't have. And I just kind of feel sorry for it. Like, this is one of the most sorry Christian movies I've ever seen. I just sat there like, oh man, is this over yet? And that's not good. Not for a Christian to watch a Christian movie. So, yeah, I would preferred them to reference God's Club more often. I would appreciate more diverse dialogue, and the camera work was funky. I'm not even going to get into that, but it was just funky. And I don't know, something about Stephen Baldwin too. I just don't really care for him as an actor, and I think there are a lot of people that could have made that role a lot better, especially when it comes to actually acting like a Christian. You know, I just I don't think he really pulled off what needed to be pulled off to influence people, you know, to just accept what a godly man is. You know, just this movie was kind of weird. I don't know who thought of some of the stuff in this movie, but it doesn't resemble some of us Christians and the way we think, and we might have a little bit of a problem with how we're kind of made an example of in this movie, and it kind of goes a certain direction and kind of gets sidetracked. I just wish it would have been a little bit more focused. So I'm going to give a C- to God's Club. I obviously would prefer you to go try and watch this movie sometime and give it a watch, because it's a nice Christian movie. It's just, like I said, kind of repeating, kind of sidetracked, and doesn't make much sense sometimes. Kind of confusing. So C- for God's Club. My name's Danny. If you like this or my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And give God's Club a try. And enjoy your movies, guys. Thanks.